Hi guys, I am finally back from Colossal Con, a 5-hour ride. Oh my god. But anyway, I'm going to do a bit of a review like I did for Techo and review the convention, but before I do that, let me show you a newbie who has never been to a convention and show what he thinks is going to happen, and then a little later I'll show you what he later thinks after being at the convention. Have you planned anything specific for this?
I mean, other than going to the few panels, like we're going to go to a D&D panel, like Drunkards and Duncenses, whatever. Then there's another one, how to play it. I mean, it would be interesting to see how the 5th edition has evolved, how the editions have evolved. I play 2nd edition, so I don't know how to play the other one.
Yeah, that shows off people who enter their
it shows off, people who've actually done the whole deal. And then what is this other one? There's like a trivia one that's going to be late at night, and I think there's a night dance, isn't there? A rave, yeah, there's a rave. So you catch me at the rave in my Pikachu onesie.
Are you going to be going as anything to this?
Yeah, me, but an inch taller.
So what do you think, what's your first impression of what do you think is going to happen at the convention?
I don't know, probably nothing much. It's probably just going to be a bunch of nerds being grumpy.
Anything you're looking forward to seeing?
Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff, there's a panel for it. There's like actually 2 panels for it, so, you know. Well, there's also like this other thing, is like, she likes this Homestuck shit, so I'll go ahead and I'll look into that too.
Anything you're not wanting to see there other than that? Just...
What? Other than land whales and costumes?
I'm trying to think of questions now, because I didn't think I'd get this far. Okay, good things about Colossal Con East 2018. The place is a lot bigger, which is pretty nice. The crowd is a bit smaller, which, of course, with it only being the 2nd year running, is to be expected. That being said, it was pretty nice, a lot better than the regular convention, I must say. The arcade was very, very nice. I don't know, I'm going to say very nice a lot, but it was pretty nice. The people there were okay, which, you know, when you get a drunken crowd, you can't really help what you get. That's not really convention's fault. Overall, I think the convention was pretty good. It did a lot of things well. I know the rooms were a bit away from the convention center, at least mine was, but other than that, that's not really a complaint. It was relatively okay. The panels were but I wasn't really expecting much with the panels, and surprisingly there were a lot more panels that I went to there than I have recently to other conventions, so I'll give it props for that. That was pretty good. One of my favorite panels was the Jeopardy stuck, which I didn't realize was actually happening until maybe a week before, and that was on the same day that I had am going to cosplay as Cronus Ampora, something that you guys on Instagram voted for, so that was a bit ironic. It was pretty fun. I ended up getting stuck on one side with my boyfriend being on the other, and I ended up almost becoming an encyclopedia. Like, after I started, like, we had an Eridan who was the main person giving the answers, but they would come to us and we'd all work as a team, and after a while people started going and turning to me, because I was always giving answers, like a little encyclopedia for Homestuck that I am. So that was pretty fun. Got to see Homestucks in 2018 throughout the whole entire convention, so that was a bit of a head spinner. Made some friends along the way, which was pretty fun, especially whenever we were waiting before the actual panel. We were giving misinformation for like 50 boonbucks, and it was just a big giant joke, but we had people actually coming to me and my boyfriend to actually ask where stuff was, so we actually had to give answers. There were a lot of D&D panels, which was actually very cool, because I haven't seen a lot of that at conventions, so we got to go and see that. We mostly just play 2nd edition, we don't play 5th edition, so got to get a bit educated on the 5th edition stuff, which is a bit confusing. We also went to the glow stick party, which is actually the first time I've actually gone to a rave. Yeah, I know. I've been going to conventions since 2013. I've never actually gone to raves because that's never been my thing. I'm not a rave person, but we went and it was pretty cool. There was a circle of people after a while where people would start dancing and everyone would go like, yeah, everyone was drunk. There was one guy who got onto a chair that, like, there were chairs to the side where people could sit down, got onto one of those and started riding it through the circle, which was pretty funny. Another thing that was pretty funny was this one girl who was really dancing pretty good, and this one guy was joining her, and she went to do a flip, and she ended up kicking him in the face, which was pretty funny. But the crowd there was super, like, enjoyable and stuff like that. Like, even if you couldn't dance, everybody would cheer you on anyway, because everyone's drunk. Everyone's drunk. It's a party con. Like, there's no, like, nicer way to say it. It's a party convention. It's one of the few conventions I know of, at least, or that I've gone to, where you can have open carry alcohol, because the resort carries and gives and sells alcohol at the very convention. So can't really ban that whenever the whole resort is having it anyway. Overall, the convention was pretty good. That being said, let's go into some of the criticisms I have. Some of the criticisms sort of has to do with behavior of some of the attendees. Like, please, when you're going to a convention and you're staying at a hotel or anything like that, please don't break anything. Like Friday night when we had just arrived sometime around maybe 12. Around Friday night we were passing to go back to our room, and somebody actually had ripped the lock off of one of the hotel doors, which, you know, it's Friday, I know everybody's partying and stuff like that, but geez, don't break stuff out, or don't break stuff at all. And then Saturday night, they had like a little tiling along the wall, which a lot of places do, just fancy or something like that. There was a repairman, and we didn't know what he was doing at first. We thought, oh, maybe somebody's just a repairman. No, it's actually a repairman who was actually having to fix the tile on the wall because someone broke that as well. There weren't as many panels, or rather panel rooms. I noticed there were only like 5, which maybe I'm spoiled because I go to Techo, and Techo literally has dozens and dozens of rooms on each floor, so it's like you have a plethora of panels to choose from. But there's only maybe like 5 rooms for actual panels and stuff like that, and they were constantly getting rescheduled and changed. Like the one that I wanted to go to that I didn't get to go to, which was like Cons and Creeps, was originally going to be like 1 in the morning, and it got changed to 2 p.m. on Saturday, and a lot of stuff just kept on getting changed and put back, or just taken off the schedule and canceled entirely, which I don't know if it was because the people who were the attendees were either drunk and no longer wanted to do it or what, but like that was a little bit of a problem. But at the very least, if you had the app, you actually knew about it, which for other places, I can't say the same. So at the very least, they were on top of it in alerting people that, hey, this is canceled, this has been changed, things like that. So at least there was that. There were some places where people would get really rowdy and block the hallways, but the security was excellent. They would break it up very well, so I didn't have to worry about like things that happen at the regular Colossal Con, where it's extremely, things are a lot smaller, there's a lot more people, and stuff doesn't get broken up as much, so there's always a clog of people blocking the way. The dealer's room and Artist Alley were a lot smaller than I expected from such a big convention. I know it's only the second year, so of course there's not going to be as much, but I really wasn't expecting it to be that small. I didn't get as much loot because of how limited it was. There was a few interesting things in the Artist Alley that I thought were pretty cool. There's actually somebody selling sewing patterns, which was pretty nice. Like just a whole thing of just somebody selling sewing patterns, which is an excellent idea. It's actually something that I want to do, especially when it comes to some of my props. But yeah, really, there's not really too much for me to complain about when it comes to this convention, to be honest. I mean, for the most part, it was extremely enjoyable. There wasn't that many problems. The con staff was on top of it. Everything was pretty good. Really, it's just like certain attendees, which really you're going to get that from any convention, no matter where you go. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be assholes. To be honest, I liked this Colossal Con a lot better than the regular one, simply because the attitude and general, like, way people acted here was a lot nicer. People were a lot more enjoyable and polite and stuff like that, even when they were blasted drunk, as opposed to the regular Colossal Con, which I've gone to multiple times, and I've experienced a plethora of stories I could give you about jerks being jerks just because they were drunk and stuff like that, of people purposely running into my costume because they wanted to, or just screaming out, "Oh, what is that supposed to be?" You know, rude things, which this convention, with the attendees, even with being drunk, very nice. I know one thing I noticed was there was a lot of lost and found. Me and my boyfriend found a lot of stuff just dropped on the ground. We found a costume ring. We found somebody's, actually, there's a booth that takes these kind of photos, you know, stuff like, isn't it cute? Yeah, but somebody left those at a water fountain right next to it, so we had to return that. We did see a bag, but we thought maybe the person went to the bathroom because it was in front of the bathroom, so we sort of left it there. But there was a lot of stuff of people dropping their costumes and dropping their stuff, and you can see that on the Facebook page and things like that, but really that's only to be expected. It happens at regular conventions too. That was one thing I noticed. Other than that, really the convention was pretty good. The water park, it was mostly indoors for this convention, or this resort. It's a bit different from the other one. It's a lot bigger, but also has a majority of its water park stuff indoors rather than outdoors, which I can see why. Being in the Poconos Mountains, it's going to be cold, it's going to be rainy, and the weather's not going to be the best a lot of the time sometimes, depending on where you go in, and even then. So it's always best to have that stuff indoors, as opposed to Ohio over at the regular Colossal Con, where the weather's going to be more stable because it's not in the mountains. So if you're okay with having more photo shoots that are indoors, that's perfectly fine. Outdoors, it's a bit okay. We didn't get to see it because it was literally raining the whole time, which is why I'm glad most of the stuff was indoors. Though I wish it had let up a bit just so I could see what the outside looked like, because apparently there was a very good waterfall that was a little bit of a hike, but would have been a really good place for some photos. But we didn't get to go because it was pouring down, and I couldn't risk getting wet with any of my costumes, especially my Junie Tyson, my flamethrower, just because the way it was attached right here, the rain or the moisture would have actually caused the straps to become unattached, so I couldn't really do that. I think having a second location is actually a great idea for Colossal Con. I heard they're actually going to be doing a cruise, which I'm not going to do because I refuse to get on boats. I refuse to get on boats. I got onto a boat one time and I was pretty much sick the entire time. But I'm not going to risk getting on a boat in costume. But I think having a second location was an excellent idea. Whoever thought of it was like genius, because not only does it sort of break up the crowd at the larger convention, the one that has like smaller room and therefore has like wall-to-wall people, but it gives people who can't get rooms there or can't do that, like I can't do that directly after Techo, because that's like literally convention after convention, my wallet can't handle it. So that was sort of very helpful. Though the 5-hour ride is a bit much. I probably won't be going next year simply because that 5-hour ride killed us. We'll be doing something a bit closer. I'm actually thinking of doing Techo and Matsuri in Columbus, Ohio, a convention I haven't gone to in about maybe 4 years. It'll be 5 years next year. I haven't gone there since I was invited with my friends. We haven't gone there since, but it is closer and does seem a bit nicer, and since I don't have like a room for the next Colossal Con, that seems like a good idea because it's not a 5-hour ride. Other than that, I had a great time. I got some excellent loot. I met some pretty nice people who I now are friends with and have discords with them. So that being said, I'm going to show you the exit interview for my boyfriend, who, like I said, is not an anime fan, has never experienced an anime convention, and I'm going to have you listen to his thoughts on him experiencing a huge convention for the very first time.
Hey guys, this is my part of the interview. This is my part. There's some questionnaires I'm going to answer here, so there we go. Yes and no. It was definitely a different experience, first time being at a con. So, you know, and it was like how Vivid Barnacle told me during the con. It was definitely a party con, so definitely a different experience. Yeah. Can't really pinpoint an experience, moment. I'm sorry, but definitely the water park that's within Colossal Con. It was actually pretty fun. I had some great time with Vivid Barnacle there. Yeah, that was a really good part. All the D&D panels, that was actually quite a surprise, because going into this thinking it was just anime, like a bunch of anime people not being too much into D&D, and it was actually pretty cool. I shot the breeze with one dude at one of the panels. It was like an introduction, and the edition I play, I don't have knowledge of 5th edition, so he was actually very helpful and kind of talked me into getting it, so that was pretty cool. Okay, so what I didn't like was all the drunks and just the sheer amount of alcohol that you could actually get there. And when I was hearing it was like supposed to be a family-friendly con, I was kind of turned off by that, because there was literally an open bar, and I don't think any family-friendly events would have said open bar. And there was just not much stuff to do. I mean, the games room was smaller, as Vivid Barnacle told me, in other places like Techo and things like that. The games rooms are bigger, and there's actually people playing D&D and stuff. It was just video games. There was nothing much to do there. There was a lounge, and you could just draw within the lounge. I didn't see anybody play anything within the lounge. There's just literally people drawing or just, drinking, Yeah, I mean, other than that, so, yeah. What would I improve? Yes, making the games room bigger. Like I said, putting those in, putting in, like, just a table to just play D&D, like, or have a staff member be like, hey, I'll run through some adventures and stuff. Tabletop RPGs, more board games. I mean, there was no board games at all, just board games, something simple, just something so other people can do other than just party, you know what I mean? Because there was kids there, well, kids aren't going to go out and party like adults, you know what I mean? And that would be something to do between the panels, up the number of panels maybe. That's what I'd think too. Up the number of panels, increase the games room. I mean, they had a lounge. They could change the lounge to a games room. This is our video games one. This is our tabletop one, So people got stuff like that. I would rate the con a 6 out of 10, just because of some of those things, but I did still have fun, tons of fun, and I thank Vivid Barnacle for taking me. Yep, that's it.
Anyway guys, thank you for staying to the end of the video. I actually have a few announcements. I now have a merchandise store, so if you want to go check that out, please go and check it out. I've been putting a lot of my designs that I've been putting on my Instagram. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see that I draw fan art. I do that, and I'm also open for taking art commissions. If you're interested, please DM me on Instagram. I'm willing to work out with prices and things like that. I'm pretty flexible, and I usually get stuff done very quickly. But I'm now opening a merchandise place, and it's by Fine Arts America, and they're actually pretty good. I was looking over their designs, I was looking over all the things. They have a plethora of stuff that you can actually buy with the designs I've made for them. Like, there are shower curtains, there's phone cases, there is tote bags, there's fleece blankets, there's freaking, there's yoga mats, there's all kinds of stuff. So please go and check out my store, and go and check out my Instagram, because usually when I'm doing convention stuff or when I'm making my props and sewing, I do update stuff on there. So if you want to see how I make my stuff, or if you want to see behind the scenes of me making videos, please go and follow me and check me out there. Other than that, send me more stories. I guess that's all I can say. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!